Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. Today I want to talk about third-party situations to answer one of my clients' questions. He emailed me yesterday, which was Thanksgiving, and he asked me basically in a nutshell without going through the entire email. He basically said, one thing that I'm having a hard time understanding is if in one respect we have no competition, but then in another respect, that we hear success stories where somebody manifested their SP back, but ended up learning, for example, that their specific person ended up with someone else. So in that case, there was somebody that came in and had a desire for our specific person. And obviously, our specific person had a desire for someone else too. So this thing, I feel like I'm missing something. If you could basically shed some light on it, that's basically what he asked in a nutshell. So I obviously changed the wording and stuff. But I do believe that this is going to help some of you guys who are just starting out. And to my client, just remember to be patient with yourself because you literally just became aware of this process. You have to give yourself some patience and time and continue to study the law directly from Neville Goddard's teachings as well. That's something that I think is very, very important. But to talk about this specific question, I hope that this video does help some of you. So before I get further into this, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel if you love my content. And if you want me to be your coach to help you manifest your specific person back or to change the dynamic of the relationship, feel free to email me a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Then you book your session with me at my website, coreunion.com. You can book either a single session or a package. And remember that manifesting money, health, security, new businesses, successful business, anything and everything is the same because all of creation is already done. And you simply wouldn't be magnetized towards something or really want something unless that end existed. Because again, all creation is done. So it's up to you to make the decision to trust in your end and to just stay focused on the end and not here in the middle. All that being said, the questioning part of that of this, what was just brought up with my client and anyone else who has this question, is a normal part of the process. But at some point, you do want to just stay aware and remember the biggest thing is not to make your life all about anything that you're manifesting because when you actually do that, you're essentially saying, this or that is my God, is my source of all happiness. And without this or that, my life means nothing, which means you're not actually valuing yourself. You're not knowing your value or your worth. I get it. I understand. Our specific person means the world to us. My mirror soul means the absolute world to me, but I also mean the world to myself. And so that's just something I felt the need to really say because some of you guys, when I say words like you have to take your person off of the pedestal, then it goes into this extreme egoic thing like, I'm this, I'm that, they're not this, they're not that, they're chasing me, I'm the prize. You are the prize, but so is your person. And if in your mind you're like, but they did this, they did that, they were horrible. How can I forgive when they did this or that? You don't forgive from a 3D perspective. In other words, you don't say, even though you hurt me, I'm going to forgive this. It's not that kind of forgiving. From a manifestation perspective, you are forgiving anything and everything in your reality because you realize that your reality is your consciousness, your subconscious programming being reflected back to you. That's what your reality is. So 95%, like you have been storing information and memories since you were a child. And that makes up your concept of yourself and others, men, women, relationships. Your reality is always going to prove that you are right. It's just going to keep giving it to you over and over and over again, which is the very reason why you don't want to be middling, because the middling part is you living from not being the wife, husband, spouse, partner, and you not seeing the highest and best in your person. So forgive them from a manifestation perspective that I realize I don't like this, but I realize that this is reflective of what my fears, my worst fears were. And some people, of course, there are different collectives, so there are varying degrees of problems and situations. So let me talk about this thing that my client asked, though. And I can see that I have some Romeo hairs on me, so just excuse that. And this is kind of a day off after Thanksgiving for me. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. When you first manifested your specific person, you didn't even realize that you were manifesting because you didn't realize that your reality was reflecting all of your programming back to you. And if when you were growing up, you were programmed to believe that you're not worthy, you're not enough, you're not good enough, and that you have to prove yourself. You have to prove your value, prove your worth, that you don't deserve love. And some people, even through the process, they end up believing through growing up because they're carrying their subconscious programming and their baggage into all of their relationships, and they keep getting beat down, and then they believe that they're broken. But they're not. They're simply, they don't realize that they were manifesting from their subconscious belief system. So they were constantly being proven right through the people in their reality. So now you become aware of this, and you're still not fully in your power, and you're not realizing that when you broke up with your specific person years ago, you didn't know your value and your worth back then. Back then, your self-concept was that I'm not good enough for this. He or she doesn't see my value. They don't this, they don't that, they don't see me. She ended up in a rebound relationship, like you said. And now you're like, I don't understand this. If you say there are no one can be my competition, how was it that there was competition back then? Because you didn't realize back then that you had no competition. And it is literally as simple as that. Now that you're aware of it, don't keep creating competition. There is no competition. So you want to see that you know that there's no competition because you know your value, you know your worth, and you want to see your person that she knows your value and she knows your worth too. And all of the things that you previously manifested because you had a different self-concept, which is why you manifested that in the begin with, because you just didn't realize that you were you didn't realize that you were unconsciously creating your reality back then. Okay. It's as simple as that. That's all that there is to it. So now that you are aware, don't blame yourself and shame yourself for the things that you manifested previously before you knew. Don't feel bad about them because it's not your fault. It's your previous programming. But now that you're reprogramming yourself by remaining faithful and living from the end, realizing that that all just happened because that was my manifestation. So I can safely, from a manifestation perspective, forgive all of this, forget all of this, let it all go, and then forgive myself also for unconsciously creating it, and then get back in my power again. That's one of the most powerful ways to shift states, is to realize that and to own it, not in a blameful way. So you're not blaming anybody and you're not blaming yourself. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. And for anyone else now we're on the subject of forgiving. I saw a lot of comments over the past couple of days where a couple of you guys are like, I can't forgive my person. I have another client that had emailed me. Her specific person keeps showing up only wanting to have sex. And she's getting very triggered by this. Even though, from my perspective, the things that he's saying are of a man that is in love with somebody. And so I believe that the only reason why you keep manifesting this is because you keep getting caught up in it and keep getting frustrated with him. Instead, forgive him and forgive everything from the past and let go of all of it and allow the unfolding to happen through interacting with him. But of course, if you put up a boundary that we can't be intimate until we're in a relationship, but that please don't do it in a manipulative way. You can just say, look, I love you, I want you, but it can't be like that. So I'm here and I love you. And that's all I can say about it. And then when he wants to communicate, I know that one of the things that was happening was that he kept just insisting on intimacy. But from my perspective, this is the unfolding of it. So instead of assigning negative meaning to the communication, just see that he's a man in love, that he's desiring you and wanting you. Maintain the boundaries of physical intimacy, but allow the conversations and allow, without getting triggered, in other words, allow the unfolding to happen. And you can communicate. And when you communicate, don't communicate in a you should have done this, you should have done that. You're not his mother. Keep reminding yourself that the things that previously happened were your consciousness being reflected back to you. It was your fears and your baggage. Okay? So forgive him. See him as being a wonderful and amazing partner and husband. See him as being a good man. See him as somebody who knows your value and knows your worth. And you keep knowing your value and knowing your worth, which I know you already do. But you have to, there has to be a level of forgiveness here. Okay? And then allow the unfolding of it, because it is unfolding. But when you keep putting the brakes on it because you keep assigning negative meaning to the communication, don't assign negative meaning to it anymore. Instead, just be super excited that it is unfolding. And when you start to, in the 3D, ask questions, that's where it seems like you got triggered too. You were asking very specific questions about things related to the third party. Okay, let the third party go. Let you and him be happy together, and let you guys communicate and let it unfold, and trust that it's unfolding. Okay. Trust in your power. Trust that your end exists. And I know that you said that you were starting to get numb and not even wanting to, you're not even having the desire to do your inner work. That's just because you are so angry and frustrated with your manifestation, your previous manifestation, but it's coming up for you. So you can just look at it. You don't have to look at it with anger. You can just say, no, we love each other and we're committed to each other. And he loves expressing his vulnerability with me. He loves treating me like the queen that I know that I am and that he knows that I am. He sees me as a diamond. He sees me as gold, and he knows my value and worth. And he also knows his value and his worth. He knows that he's a good man, and he knows that he can give me everything that I want. Okay. That's how you want to be seeing him right now in the unfolding of it. Okay. Anyway, that was channeled. I love you guys so much. If you need me, just reach out, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.